Yeah, this is a bit fun. I've already gone ahead and taken everything out of the rudder shaft here and dropped it down a little bit. Not much though. I don't want to drop it out of the boat. I'm not even taking this off. There's no reason to do that. I just need this plate to go in the garage and get traced out and replaced. We're at this point now. I'm going to go ahead and unbolt everything, and hopefully we'll get in the garage here in a minute. Oh, and I got to go change that horrible ass song. Ugh. Yeah, we got her out, and sadly this one has the same issues as the other one does. I mean, you can see that's not aluminum, it's more like aluminum dust. But I can't get these off. Well, I got it off that far and then it stopped, so I'm going to cut these two bolts off here so I can get my cable undone, and then we can actually get out of this 97 degrees I think it is out here right now. Whew. It's kind of smoking, boys. Where our battery dies here. Just took our disc grinder with a 60 grit disc on it, sanding disc, and went ahead and smoothed off or knocked off all these chips and stuff, just so I can get it as flat as possible. I mean, wow, there's some big, I mean, look at that. I mean, that's relatively close to what it's supposed to be thickness, and that's actual thickness. It's still a little proud here to begin with, so, but we just knocked it off so we can use this as a pattern, and now I'll be able to trace it out on a new piece of aluminum and make a new one. Okay, I just got the steering plate disassembled. I did end up pulling one of the bearings out of one of the pulley wheels, which came apart in about 10 pieces. So I think I'm on the hunt for a new one of those, but I did get it all apart, and it's just in time too. Look at this. As you can see, this is chunks galore. I mean, you shouldn't be able to dig into the aluminum. I could probably drill a hole all the way through it if I tried. I know I'm that far down into it. Yeah, this is what held the rudder in place and all the steering. If it fails, it could be catastrophic. The whip strut fails, it could have been catastrophic. So I think it's time, but I'm going to go ahead and grind this one down also with a 60 grit disc and knock off all the high edges and clean it up a little bit. That way I can get a really good pattern off of it. Then it'll be time to start laying them out. I mean, look at that. That's amazing. At one point, this was almost as thick as my finger. I mean, it's all gone here. I mean, look at that. That's a knife edge. That's where it's just all gone. And I could get into it even more, but you know, all I'm trying to do is get a pattern here, so I don't really want to get in any more and deform it or change its shape any, but still. At least it tings now. Before it just went thud, so got the majority of it off, but like I said, this is only a pattern, so off to do patterns. Hey, look what just came in. Day late's better than never, I guess. Ooh, thick aluminum right off the factory floor. Time to get this out to the workbench. And what I mean by workbench is 2 4x4s laying in the dirt. Okay, I've gone ahead and got my pattern scribed. I didn't want to use a felt tip pen because, you know, the tip gets so wide and then it just adds all the way around. And, you know, it smears, it comes off, it does all this and that. So I just scribed it in with a awl, it all looks like over there, an old awl. And now I just get the fun part of cutting them out, which shall take forever. And then I will take my patterns and I'll put on top and I'll drill 2 pretty solid holes, ones that are not a little wonky or anything, and then I'll bolt the 2 pieces together, and then I'll finish drilling everything out using those as a pattern. Or at least that's the plan. I should have a start because 3 hours later, here we are. We got our rough cuts out. We're gonna have to take the disc over there and round off to all the edges. I have no sharp edges in boats, ever, no matter what. Clean my blocks, I clean my head transmissions, clean everything. Any sharp edges, any slag, anything like that that you would grab a hold of, especially in this little tiny boat over there, and may cut yourself on. I'm totally crazy about that. That and hose clamps, of course. I've said this 1,000 times. Put them ends on them hose clamps so you don't end up with a scar like 3 or 4 inches long like I have. All done. I know some of you guys with CNC machines and such, you just programmed it in and come back from lunch and it had been sitting there waiting for you. Well, with a disc grinder and a jigsaw, trimming out this 3/8 inch thick aluminum's a little bit of a chore. But we got our blanks now, and that was the main goal. That's about as far as I'm going to get tonight. I still got to clean up everything, and it's about 15 minutes from getting dark. So I guess we'll have to take it into another day, which of course, you know, that's the way I figured. I figured it'd probably be about 6 or 8 days of this stuff, but just depends on whether the weather's going to cooperate and a whole lot of other things. Just doing a little multitasking here while on a hot summer day. We went ahead and scrubbed everything out. I plan on giving it another coat of paint while I got the motor out. Probably paint up the motor too while I'm at it. But yeah, just doing a little multitask here to let the sun help me out instead of breaking my brain. I'm starting with my whip strut plate. Seems like the simplest one to do. All I've done is gone ahead and gotten it squared up as good as possible, put some clamps on it, and then found 2 of the strongest and most centered holes that I could, and went ahead and drilled them out, and then stuck a couple 3/8 bolts through them and tightened them down. That way it's not going to go anywhere, because the bolt hole, you know, it's drilled for it is super tight, so it doesn't have any slack in it. And now I'm going to pop these clamps off, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drill the rest of it out. Just hope I got the right drill bits, but I figure I'm going to have to make a trip to the depot before this is all over with anyway. 1 down, 1 to go. After about another hour, I got a bigger pile of aluminum scrap. I got all these pretty little pieces over here. But for now, I need to clean up and get to the Home Depot before they close. And look at this. I did pull the, what do you call that? It didn't work out as well as I thought it would. Let's try that again. Ah, done.